What do you think of when you hear the name Alaska? Go on, I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, that's enough. I really gotta keep this video brief. If you guessed pristine glaciers, lovely mountains, beautiful auroras, snow, and a whole lot of polar bears, then you'd be right. Alaska is America's least traveled state, likely due to it being so detached from the rest of the country and for its famously cold winters. In comparison, America's other detached state, Hawaii, gets an estimated 27 to 33% more tourists every year, which is understandable considering the state's perfect weather and stunning beaches, but it goes to show you that not a lot of travelers like to take risks. In fact, from the small handful of people who visit Alaska, most of them travel in the summer on cruises, which, don't get me wrong, it has its perks, but in my opinion, the more interesting and outlandish activities are located further inland. That's why today, I'll be showing you how you can prepare and enjoy a trip to Alaska's interior city of Fairbanks. So sit back and let's jump right in. If you somehow weren't paying attention earlier, this guide will be focusing on a winter trip, not a summer trip. Besides, in the summer, the interior region is riddled with pesky mosquitoes. Anyways, located deep within Alaska's interior, this city has a perfect blend of familiar urban life and treacherous uncharted wilderness for you to enjoy. To prepare for a trip such as this, unfortunately you do have to start with some investing. Standard winter attire is not going to cut it here, unfortunately. In winter, even as late as early March, temperatures can go as low as minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's being generous since it can go well below that too. So please, make your desired winter attire your #1 priority because the last thing you want is to end up with hypothermia and some missing fingers. To name a few essentials, find a thick winter jacket, snow pants, thermal wool socks, and quality winter boots from trusted retailers such as the North Face or Dick's Sporting Goods. You'll also need clothing such as E-tip gloves, beanies, and scarves to protect parts of your body from frostbite. This on top of various layers will keep you insulated and prepare to conquer the snowiest of snowy conditions. This might sound daunting at first because you'll be spending close to $1,000 just on this new gear alone, but at least you won't have to buy this stuff again anytime soon. Perfect for a future trip or if you have to abandon your car again here in the South. Once you have your essentials and you've given the subarctic climate the finger, it's time to look at what downtown Fairbanks has to offer. In the city, you're greeted with a handful of landmarks such as Pioneer Park, the Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum, and the World Ice Art Championship, the latter of which has some beautiful and extravagant ice sculptures, many of which can be interacted with. However, from personal experience, the University of Alaska's Museum of the North is an absolute must-visit if you're interested in Alaskan history. The museum has a cheap entry fee and features artifacts ranging from old dinosaur fossils, strange local wildlife, and even World War II era items. Just makes you wonder why your local college just can't have nice things now, can it? Oh, and also take a good look at the stuffed polar bear here because it's the only one you're going to be seeing this whole trip. The city of Fairbanks is just the start of it. Outside of the city is where the true fun begins. Besides the two obvious ski resorts, Fairbanks features a whole plethora of chilly ventures that you likely wouldn't experience outside of Alaska, including a very intriguing colorful phenomenon in the sky. Many of these experiences can be found just outside the city limits, with the most popular hub being the Chena Hot Springs Resort. But before I delve into these attractions, we must first discuss transportation. Fairbanks is a bit of a doozy when it comes to transportation. You see, a lot of the city's most unforgettable activities are far outside of the city limits, meaning you have to travel through miles and miles of dark, uninhabited wilderness. Unlike other major cities, Uber and Lyft are a bit scarce, and while they're good for visiting downtown attractions, leaving the city will cost you an arm and a leg, so it's not advised. Tour buses are another potential option, but you have to comply with their schedule, so if you want the most freedom, your best investment is to rely on your limited driving skills through the snow and get a rental car. Trust me, it may be pricey, but it is absolutely worth it in order to experience Alaska at your own pace. At least the airport lot is quite small, so it shouldn't take you long to find your rental in the blistering cold. For your consideration, SUVs, pickup trucks, and for some reason sedans with all-wheel drives are best at handling snowy conditions. Yeah, because no way in hell do you want to slip up and get stranded in a frozen wasteland with no signal. Once you figure out what methods of transportation you want to use, it's time to finally head out into the wilderness and experience the many icy wonders Fairbanks has to offer. For real now. Coming back to the aforementioned Chena Hot Springs Resort, this secluded yet world-renowned retreat features numerous tours for relatively cheap. Now that I've mentioned secluded, once I tell you how you're supposed to get there, you might want to spend a night at the resort just to experience all the tours at a discount. Because the Chena Hot Springs Resort are a whopping 60 miles away from downtown Fairbanks. It's a long, quiet, and lonely ride that really accentuates just how isolated this great state is. But hey, at least the endless mountains and forests provide some beautiful scenery while you drive there. Once at the resort, you can take a dip in the hot springs, explore another ice museum featuring a bar, take a ride on a dog sled handled by a professional musher, order food and souvenirs through its gift shop, and much more. However, my personal favorite activity was the snow machine tours. No, in Alaska they don't call them snowmobiles, they're called snow machines apparently. After watching a brief tutorial video, a trained tour guide will teach you how to ride these vehicles through a trail surrounding the resort, and in no time you'll be fearlessly blazing through the winter wonderland at intense speeds. Just don't be a bozo and have too much fun with it. But finally, we've now come to Fairbanks' last and most sought after attraction, the stunning views of the Northern Lights. This phenomenon commonly happens between the end of August and the end of April, and is what determines most people's decision to come to Fairbanks. I will warn you, however, that you have only about a 90% chance to see the aurora on a 3-day trip. Those chances might seem really high, but the aurora is well known to be unpredictable, and will oftentimes never appear even if the forecast says so. So please have other attractions in mind and the off chance you end up being unlucky. Many roads that take you outside of Fairbanks, such as the Dalton or Steese highways, are off limits to rentals due to how dark and hazardous they can be at night. I haven't even mentioned that if you typically use your high beams in the suburbs, good luck seeing anything in the woods because you literally can't see more than 20 feet in front of you, even with the high beams on. Anyway, once you've carefully maneuvered yourself to a good isolated spot, face north, hope the sky is relatively clear, and pray that the northern lights appear and dance across the sky. Obviously, don't be a dumbass and travel south to then face north so that the northern lights will be obscured by city lights. If you're not confident venturing into the woods by yourself, I don't blame you. You can also book a tour for the northern lights at the Chena Hot Springs Resort or other places like Aurora Point. These tours are excellent for first-time travelers, and they even provide snacks, fun activities, and trivia to help pass the time. Just book at your own risk since they will still charge you full price even if the northern lights are absent that night. If you miss out, all I can say is, oh well, try again tomorrow. But if you're lucky to be graced by the aurora's beauty, take full advantage of your phone's night setting to get some great pictures of this phenomenon. Although do take the time to take them in with your own eyes because that'll be one of the biggest regrets you'll have this entire trip. Then when you get back, you'll really have something to show off to your friends. Now that I've given you the rundown of what to expect from Fairbanks, I hope you can consider it for your next trip or for a future one later down the line. Alaska's interior may not feature everything you'd expect that the state is known for, such as the towering snow-capped mountains, but it provides many adventures that a typical cruise wouldn't otherwise. However, if you're turned off by the extreme cold that is prevalent in this region, then that's okay. This isn't a trip for everyone, and it is only for the people who are committed to trying new things and getting a taste of what life is like in this hostile remote environment. And if you do end up going, you'll get memories that'll last a lifetime. You can also tell people that you've seen the northern lights and went out in the minus 50-degree weather. Or you can always fall back on it as a good conversation starter at an awkward dinner date. Have fun!